welcome back to another video. This really popped when I saw it. That to me is a monster increase. Again, this book got hot. This book is ready to go higher. So let's jump right into it. We are back today with another statue review from Diamond Select Toys. Without further ado, let's get into the review. What is going on, YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics Collectibles, and welcome back to another live stream. I thought I'd jump on here tonight and answer any questions out there that anyone might have out there in the community. We're going to talk about some new stuff that has hit the scene lately and go over some great stuff. But before we get started, like always, guys, like every video, I'm going to ask you, if you're not a current subscriber of the channel and have been enjoying some of my content, do me a favor, go ahead and click the subscribe button because it really does help the channel out. Of course, tap that like button because it helps the algorithm out, and turn on notifications because it'll let you guys know when I post new videos. So with that said, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Comic Chat live Q&A with me, your host, Lawrence at Mighty Comics and Collectibles. I see I got a couple of guys in here already. What's going on, Darren? How you doing, buddy? How are you? Good to hear from you again. Hopefully, maybe I'll get you back on once we go over a few things here that I want to talk about. But I figured we start tonight with the news from CGC, right? The news from CGC about the QR codes they're putting on the labels now. I guess it still means that they're going to remove the notes from the labels, which I don't really mind because it does clean up and makes the books appear nicer. However, if something is missing, I do think it has to be written on the book somewhere. If like a Marvel value stamp is missing or a page is missing, it has to be written on there still, even though there is a QR code that you can easily scan and go look up. It's going to be free for everybody now, just not for just members of CGC, which is great. But it's a step in the right direction. I think they kind of probably heard everyone's complaints and figure out that, hey, we kind of need to do something here. We're not going to just, let it blow on the breeze and whatever, because there's been a lot of news that's been out about CGC over the past year or so between raising rates and raising them again, and now removing the labels and all the issues that's been going on with, mislabeling of books, misshipping of books, stuff like that. But again, I think they're doing the right thing with the QR code. And maybe this was their plan all along when they made this announcement and they just kind of didn't want to like let it loose yet. They were going to say, hey, this is the announcement, but hold on, we're going to let you, sweat over it for a couple of months and then come back and say, hey, we're going to do the QR code thing, because it seems like that was only like a month ago, and now all of a sudden they have the QR codes ready to go. So it seems like maybe they had it in the works all along and they haven't said anything. Regardless, it's good for the community now that everybody's going to have free graders notes for books. But let me know, you guys, what you think down in the comments. I think every YouTuber has probably done a video on this, but I just wanted to touch base on it real quick because it is an important thing, right? That's what when we get our books graded, we need to know every flaw that's going on with these books, at least major flaws. I don't need to know that there's tape on a book when it's on the cover and I could see it, so it's no big deal. What's up, Bison Drew, bro? How you doing? Glad to join the channel. What's up? I'm dinner with my wife and daughter. Hopefully I can get on soon. Yeah, no problem. Let me just go over a few things, and I'm going to bring some guys on, and we'll have a little bit of a conversation. The other thing I want to touch on quick is that the state of the market, right? Where are we, with the market right now, with things pulling in? I watched a great video today by Swaggelhaus. He did an interview with a bunch of dealers at a local show on, dealers dropping prices of books about 20 to 30% at shows. People are buying certain types of books, probably anywhere from, 500 and under, or is what they're seeing at that show. Nothing huge is selling right now. I see the opposite. I see the big books starting to come down a little bit in price, and now is a great time to buy them. I think if you are on the hunt for a big key and all these little books are coming down and you're starting to see some of these big boys, not a lot of buyers out there at the moment, that's what I'd be pushing towards. You could see me, if you guys haven't checked out my website, mightycollects.com, I am posting a lot of books for sale because I'm trying to clear some inventory, trying to free up some cash so where I can go ahead and buy something that I ultimately want in the collection for a really long time. And it's usually that's what I go for, are the bigger things. So with that said, people talk about people always ask me this question: what am I going out there and trying to buy? And I always say, like, I'm a big key collector. I'm a first appearance collector. I used to go out and collect every little key there was. I'm talking about every little first appearance, every classic cover, I would dabble in the second appearances just a little bit, not too much, but I would go out and get everything I possibly could. At one point, I realized, you know what? I can't go out and buy every key. It's overwhelming the amount of books I would own at one point, and it's just too much. So I said, you know what? It's time to scale back what I'm buying. And thank God I did that at the right time before we had this correction. So I started selling off some stuff then. I have a lot of smaller stuff too that I'm still trying to get rid of. But other than that, like my advice would be to anyone out there who is looking to buy a bigger key, I think now's a great time. Anyone looking to upgrade a book, now's a great time. But if you're not looking to do that and you just want to look for the smaller keys, it's always a good time now, especially with the market the way it is. So Bryson just, I think we need to get back to just for the love of comics, forget the movies. I agree with you, bud. Um, I think it's hard to stay in this hobby if you don't have an attachment to the characters. Another thing I also wanted to touch on before I bring anybody else on is the fact that the way Phase 4 is going, it hasn't been a hit. Phase 1 through 3 of the MCU has been absolutely phenomenal. Everybody was hooked. Everybody loved the characters. They had a real attachment to these characters. And right now, there's no attachment to any of these characters. No attachment for the most part to, the Moon Knight, the Miss Marvel. The Miss Marvel series is okay in my opinion so far. I haven't seen the last episode yet. I will catch up on that probably this weekend, but it's been okay. That they're building the origin of the character, and I understand that. But the Moon Knight series, I didn't think was great. I didn't get enough Moon Knight in that series. I didn't get enough of an origin. We got a little bit, but it was just too muddled in my opinion. Even though there was great acting in the show, the only show that I really loved, I thought WandaVision started off slow and it was ended great. Late, it was great. The Hawkeye series was okay. I wasn't crazy how they used the Kingpin in there, and Kingpin's one of my favorite characters. So for them not to use him correctly, I thought was a travesty. They're going to bring him back, of course, in the new Echo series, him and Daredevil. The Loki series was by far the best series so far on Disney Plus, in my opinion. That show was absolutely fantastic. Again, started a little slow, but once it got going, it was phenomenal. It kind of set up what we all think is going to happen in the MCU going forward. And now we're just kind of getting character development. We're getting, the smaller shows, the Moon Knight, the Miss Marvel. Then we're going to go into She-Hulk. I actually think She-Hulk, and this is speculation on my part, that it's going to be like almost like a rom-com and it could be quite funny. I hope they go that direction because I do think that character could fit in that role. I don't like where they're going with all these characters forming a new Avengers team because I don't think people will have as much interest as the original Avengers. So I will say that. I hope that's not where they're going, but it seems like that's where they are going. But regardless, they're kind of setting something up here, but all this stuff in between really hasn't been my cup of tea. And that's what I'm hearing from other collectors out there in, the community saying Phase 4 stinks. I'm hearing Thor and Love and Thunder, mixed reviews. Some people say they love it. They think it's funny. The other people are saying it's god awful. So I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but once I do see it, I'm going to, you know, give you guys my opinion. Maybe we'll do a review. But outside of that, guys, like I'm kind of ready for this next phase 5 to come out and kind of get Marvel where it was beforehand. That's why I know a lot of things that are driving this market down, the inflation, the way the economy is right now. But I also think because the movies that are coming out are not that great, right? The shows that are coming out are not that great, and that's driving down prices of books. It's not driving down the bigger ones. Like No Way Home came out, and that blew up. It blew up a ton of books, Spider-Man related. They've since come back down a little bit, but all those books could have been had for a steal right now, in my opinion. But like AF-15, we had like a 2.5 sell for $52,000 on the heels of that movie, so that might have been an outlier. But again, like some of these movies that are coming out, they're not great, and I think that's part of the reason why we're getting this drop in comics. But I still think comics are a great investment out there for anybody that wants to go out and put some money to work. With the market being stagnant right now, I think it's a great thing if you're willing to hold for the next 20 years. I know we do a lot of investment talk on this channel, and sometimes I really want to stay away from that stuff because it is about the characters. It is about the love of the books, the nostalgia, everything it brings back, from a time that was simpler in our life. So Kevin says, I'm with you. I buy first appearances too, and I'm looking for bigger keys now. Yeah, I mean, now's the time, man. I'm telling you, if you want to roll some of the smaller keys, I think now's a good time to sell them because the smaller keys are what I'm hearing are selling right now, not the big stuff. You really have to go to like the big boy auction houses or the comic links, stuff like that, to go ahead and buy those things, unless you're going to do it through eBay and that's a little scarce. Or if you know somebody on Instagram and you really know them to buy a big boy, then it's worth it. Um, Cannabis in comics. People hate on Loki, but it was fire. Shield looking like a superhero, Ally McBeal. Yeah, I mean, listen, if it's funny and it has a good plot, I'm in for that character. But with the way Moon Knight was and the way Miss Marvel is, Miss Marvel's not bad. Like I said, it's okay, but you got to remember it's Disney, right? This it feels like a Disney show. It doesn't feel like a Marvel show. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link to this stream in the thing. And if anybody wants to come on, obviously just be appropriate when you come on. If I know you, no problem, I'll let you in. But any funny business, and I'll have to boot you. So keep that in mind. But happy Friday night. I'm glad it's Friday. All questions are open, guys. So if you have a question about a certain book, you think want to ask me if something's a good buy right now, what I'd be looking to buy, what you think a good price is, I'm here. I'm open to the questions for the next hour or so around 8:30. If we got a lot of people in here, right now there's only 4 people in there. If I got a lot of people in there, I may stay longer. If not, I'll cut it around an hour or so. That's it. We're here talking about comics. We're talking about the state of the market, what you guys are looking for, what you think prices are going in the future, anything about the MCU we could talk about. I'm really looking forward to. I'm not really looking forward to Black Panther Wakanda Forever, only because I don't know what's going to happen. I really like Chadwick Boseman, and the characters they have set up to take the mantle, I'm not a huge fan of. So not looking forward to that movie as much, but hopefully next year we get some more banging movies, right? I know DC wise, some stuff coming out, Black Adam. I'm going to let Darren in right now. What's going on, bro? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Darren? I don't know if you can hear me. Let's try to take him out and then bring him back in. You here, bud? Darren.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, but I can't see you. Oh, there you go. Now I see you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
You there?
okay. There we go. Yeah, it's really
There's
like
a little bit of a
here we go.
there's a delay on your end.
Is it better now?
There's a little bit of a delay on your end. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know what's up with this delay though.
Yeah, it's bad. I don't know if you see it or not. I'm gonna tell you, jump out and jump back in, okay? All right. While he fixes that, we're gonna come back on and just talk for a little bit. MCU guys, let me know what you think about what's gonna happen in the future. Everybody's talking about Secret Wars. Is it really gonna be Secret Wars? I think it is, but I'm a little worried that it's gonna be the second Secret Wars. Obviously now not the original. I really love the original so much when I was growing up that to go to the second one, which I understand, it's probably an easier film, more believable, but so many great storylines came from the first one that I would really love to see that play out, but I don't think it's going to happen. So we'll see. Again, anything to get these, great characters on screen. I'm hearing we're going to see like multiple of the same character interacting with each other, which I think is going to be cool. But where they go after that is going to be, something to behold, because at the end of that storyline, there should be only one Earth left, right? So are these other incarnations of these characters going to still be on this Earth? Are you going to change the storyline, and go in a different direction? I have no idea. So regardless, I'm going to try to add Darren back. Hopefully this fixed it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
That's better. All right. No delay now. There we go.
Is it better now?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Doing good for a Friday.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday, man. It's been a rough one here.
Yeah.
So what's new with you? Anything?
Not much. Just ready for Thor.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm hearing the reviews aren't that good. Like the people I have heard reviews saying it's really funny, but at the same time, it's not good. So I don't know what to believe. When are you going to see it?
Tomorrow.
Okay. Well, let me know. Let me know how it is. If it's worth it. I mean, I have like a streaming link that I'm not going to post here, but I'm able to watch it at home. Bootleg quality, but it looks pretty good. So hopefully I'll get to watching that Sunday. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it tomorrow. Kevin H has got to get those X-Men books and FF books sooner rather than later. I don't think they have come close to topping out yet. You know what? This is an interesting question because there are so many copies of those books, especially maybe not the FF books, the Silver Age books, but I'm talking about like the X-Men books. Not the Silver Age ones, but the Bronze Age ones, the Claremont run, the first appearance. Even I know it's on an X-Men book, the first appearance of Wolverine. That kind of scares me that there's so many copies out there. Every time I go on a live show, I see one for sale. Every time I go on eBay, there's a freaking 1,000 of them. So it scares me. I know how popular Wolverine is. Darren must have had an issue because he popped out. But regardless, I know how popular Wolverine is, and now there's there's rumor out there that he might be casted by someone. It's just so many freaking copies out there, guys. Like, how could the book continue to go up? And there are so many copies, and there are a lot of nice copies out there. I think like a 7.5 is almost like a $8,000 book at this point. So it's just that book scares me a little bit. I do own 2 copies as it is, but it does scare me. Cannabis Comics. I only collect 2 characters, Miles and Doom. In your opinion, do I sell off Miles once Across Spider-Verse gets him hot again and finally go for that FF5? I'm all for that. I would rather own a Silver Age book than a modern book. I think Miles will appear to the younger generation, the people who grew up as him being their Spider-Man, but he's never going to be Peter Parker. As much as the character is great, you can already see that book on a 9.8, regular blue label. It went from over 3,000 down to 2,500 on that book. So already it's taken like a good, 20%, 18% haircut already. I know now things are dropping, but now's not the greatest time to sell that book. I think, yes, after the Spider-Verse hits, if it goes back up and you want to sell it and you want to get that Doom, hopefully Doom hits by then, and then the book comes down a little bit for your sake, and you can, pick up that FF5. Absolutely. I saw it last night. It's really good, bro. If you don't compare it to the source material. All right. So at least that's a good review. Like I said, I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard some people say it's not that great. It's funny as hell, but the storyline's like they said gore is terrible. Like the acting is great, but they said the source material is what the issue is that he's not like the comics. So that's an issue I think for most collectors. So I'm gonna try Darren one more time. Hopefully he's all right now. He's on the phone.
Yeah, I'm on my phone now, and my laptop something's wrong.
No, don't worry about it.
Because I was fine, but I kept hearing you talk like you repeating yourself from like past sentences going into your current sentences. I was getting like 2 of you at the same time, so I think I'm good now.
All right, yeah, definitely the phone is a lot better.
Yeah.
So Cannabis and Comics says he saw Thor Love and Thunder last night. He said it was really good if you don't compare it to the source material. So if you're not like a if you really don't care, like, hey, I'm not going to use traditional stuff from the comics and it's an entertaining movie. If you're okay with that, then he says it's good. So that's a good review.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it's funny, which I expect. I heard it's like a standalone movie, so it's like it's gonna be totally different than trying to tie it into like future events, like maybe Avengers 5 or other stuff they might have coming out. So
I don't know if anybody's gonna bite the bullet. I did see a leak post-credit scene, but I won't leak. I'm not leaking that. Nobody spoil that in the comments, please. But I did see that.
Yes, I did too.
Oh yeah, okay. So there you go. I mean that's cool, but where does it go from there? I have no idea. Hemsworth already said like he'll continue playing the character, but does Marvel want him to go further and do more Thor movies? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I like Hemsworth. I do like Thor a lot. I definitely would like to see him like in the next Avengers 5 though, and maybe that's where his arc will end. His storyline will end. Like go out the hero like Tony Stark, like Iron Man did. So
I hope they don't kill him off like they did. But my thing is that where I was just referencing it before. Where do they go from here? Like they've used all the major characters. They're setting up these smaller characters now in Disney Plus shows.
Yeah,
I really don't want the Young Avengers to be where they're going with this after Secret Wars, because I don't think those characters are movie type characters. I think they're Disney Plus type characters.
I I did see today that there was a rumor. I'm sure everyone knows about. They had the director now for Captain America 4.
Yeah.
But there was a rumor that Moon Knight is supposed to be in Captain America 4
All right. Well,
because he has a military background like Sam and what Bucky have, and then that somehow Sam's gonna recruit him to be part of the Avengers for Avengers 5. So that was a rumor. You gotta take that with a grain of salt, but
instead of doing this whole thing on Disney Plus, they should have made a good movie regarding that character. It would have been better. Like that was the one character they probably could have done a movie with, but they didn't.
Well, at least if you're gonna do, you gotta do at least 9 episodes. You can't do 6. They couldn't tap into what Moon Knight really is as much as they should have.
That's the whole thing. They didn't set up the character where we actually got to see enough of the character. We only saw his the backstory. We didn't see anything else, so it was rough.
It's the same thing with Miss Marvel. I mean, I like the show. I'm not like overly like, oh my god, I gotta watch it type of thing. But I think it's okay. But 6 episodes is not enough.
I agree.
And I think they're doing. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they're doing 9 with Echo.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they have characters already set up, and Daredevil, Kingpin are already going into that show. So I'm anxious to see how they're gonna, take those characters and putting in the show and reference the old material from Netflix. I don't know, like, are they gonna bring Elektra back eventually? Because she died in the Netflix show. Spoiler, sorry if you haven't seen a Netflix show by now.
Well,
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that's right.
But I mean, that's the one thing that bothers me. Like, you got to bring her back. You can't let her just die off. It's a great character.
I agree. And she's, like you say, if you're a Daredevil fan, she's got to be in it. I also thought they did a great job with Bullseye in the Netflix one.
Yeah.
I think it was season 3. So, Elektra definitely has to come back. You can't have Daredevil without Elektra. Yeah, and I really hope they do Kingpin justice because he's a great villain.
Dude,
not only is he a Daredevil villain, he's also a Spider-Man.
That's what I'm saying. I need to see him in a Spider-Man movie. I need to see him in a Spider-Man movie.
They will. They have
to. Even if he's the one pulling the strings, like, and then in the next Spider-Man movie, like, even if he's just behind the scenes and he's not a main villain, I'm totally fine with that. They got to get into like how like sinister he really is, and they didn't even touch on that. He was great in the Netflix show. Like, I love that take on the character, but they have to make it even more, even more so. I think they should really take it to another level.
I agree 100%. I know one of the plots is supposed to be running for mayor of New York or something like that.
And I'm fine with that, right?
I'm fine with that too.
That's a good angle.
Very good angle, because that's just, he doesn't have to be the ultimate villain. He can be like that guy, on the streets that's running it, type of thing.
Exactly.
Not like, I agree 100%. But Kingpin definitely has to be used definitely a lot better than it was in Hawkeye.
If anybody out has any like comic questions, like, I really wanted to use this time. I mean, I have no problem talking about MCU stuff, but I always get a lot of questions from people on YouTube or on Instagram saying, "Hey, do you think this is a good buy? Do you think this is a good? Would you buy this over this?" Like, I had somebody ask me the other day, "Would you rather buy a I think it was a Fantastic Four #4 or something else?" But I always get questions, "Would you rather?" or "Would you rather?" So My Comic Planet with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, bud. I really appreciate it. I've got an FF2 for Skrulls. It's the very fine condition, but it's missing the Thing ad page. Think I can still get a good money if I wait until FF movie? I'm going to give my honest opinion on this stuff is that I try to stay away from incomplete stuff only for the fact that I think it's harder to sell.
Very hard.
Other than that, if it's like a collection book and you want to keep it forever, then it doesn't really matter. But I try to stay away from it because it's harder to sell. But I think the closer you get to that Skrull Secret Invasion show, that's another one I think that's supposed to come out in January. I'm actually looking forward to that.
Me too.
So I think, yes, as soon as we get that like first inkling of like, hey, the show's coming out on this date, that's the time to sell it. Right?
Yep.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off there, but like it's not a movie, so it's a show. I wouldn't wait till the FF movie comes out. Definitely not. I'll wait till the Skrull Secret Invasion starts to come out. And then I would say once they get the announcement, hey, it's coming on this date, list it. Then I would do it.
No, 100% agree with you. What Lawrence just said is what you got to do. If you want to sell it for the price you want to get, you want to get the money.
So Robert says, I'm gonna let you handle this one for start. Which is a better buy, Green Lantern 59 or Green Lantern 87?
You're gonna have to refresh me on Green Lantern.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually looking it up right now.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm not familiar with that.
Because I'm not a huge Green Lantern person,
Yeah,
but
I'm not a big.
I could
DC
tell you
guy.
just by the fact like what's what. If it's like a, well, I got to tell you right now, 59 is a pricey book, just from looking at it on here. Wow, and like it's like a $9,000 book and like a 9.8. That's a lot of money.
Oh wow.
Oh, so first John Stewart is 87. All right, so that's the answer. I think
First
that's a
John
better. It's not as a pricey book. I will say that, but what I will say is this: there's a Green Lantern show that's supposed to be coming out on HBO Max, right?
Yep.
So as soon as we get a trailer for that thing, and I'm hearing that it's going to be all centered around John Stewart, that's what I would be going to because it is more affordable. More people are probably looking for that, and then once people start watching the show, that book would shoot up. So definitely. Yeah. So again, no comment on it because I'm cutting you off left and right. But that's
no. You're fine. I agree with you 100%. Daddy would do the John Stewart, the first appearance of John Stewart.
I think
100%.
I think because
especially with the show coming out.
I think because of the bomb that happened with Green Lantern and Ryan Reynolds, that you're going to see John Stewart. You're not going to get Hal Jordan. That's just my opinion. We may get reference to him at some point, but I think they're going to go ahead with John Stewart. Hopefully DC doesn't mess this up because everything before the Batman has been pure garbage. The original Superman was okay, like with Henry Cavill. I thought the first one was good. Like they didn't do a second one, which is idiotic to me, but then they ruined it by going into Justice League and Superman versus Batman, which I thought was terrible.
Yeah, the first Superman was good. I thought it was really good. I actually enjoyed it. Justice League was not feeling it at all. It just felt rushed. No character development, in my opinion. Very well done at all. Batman vs Superman, could not stand Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I just could not stand it. It killed me.
I agree. I thought it was horrible.
couldn't take that. I do love the Peacemaker show from HBO. I thought
I haven't watched it yet, but everyone says it's phenomenal. And John Cena, I love John Cena, but everyone says it's great.
Watch it, dude. I binged it and it was great. It's hilarious. It's action packed. It's got great, kind of like references to some major characters. So yeah, dude, you gotta watch it. It's great. James Gunn did a phenomenal job. And then the Suicide Squad one that James Gunn did was okay. I wasn't overly excited about it, but I thought it was okay.
After the first Suicide Squad, they lost me. I know James Gunn, this is not helping. I have a little bit of a scratchiness. I thought it was this, but it's not. So I thought that after the first one that I'm like, you know what, I can't get into this. And then I heard this one was better, but I still couldn't even watch it after that.
It's better, but it's nothing to be like, you watch it 5, 6, 7 times type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I totally
probably
agree. But if there's something out there, like Robert asked a great question about, John Stewart book, I think that's something that I would definitely pick up right now because there is something on the horizon for that character. So anybody else has a question, just fire away.
Yeah.
Anything. I know you told me recently you were looking for something. What was it that you said that's your next hunt on a book? My next hunt. Well, I got a couple of them, but my main one is Tales of Suspense 39. Yeah, that was the one that I thought you said.
It's gonna be a little bit. I'm saving, but this is my goal. I already have Avengers 4. I got Tales of Suspense 52 and 57, first Widow and first Hawkeye. My goal is to get the last 3 big ones and have a nice little thing set up with the Avengers that we saw.
Yeah.
I got custom slab stands for the that's coming in. I got one for Cap where it has his body's it shows him in the iceberg, him frozen, and it's got a shield in the back where the comic will stand against.
Did you get it from Slab Stands?
Slab Stands. I
have a few from them as well. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, and then the Thor one, he has a Thor one with a hammer as well. So once I get those taken care of, getting those, it's gonna be probably another year or so before I get all 3 big guys. But
no, it's gonna take time. Especially Tales of Suspense 39. Iron Man 1 was on the hot 10. They both have been all over the hot 10 for the past couple of months, so they're going up still.
Yeah, I know.
which shocks me because what's pushing? Obviously, the blue chip key, yeah, great, but what else is pushing that? You see all the spec out there.
I don't
It's getting
know.
pushed because of the shows and the movies, but no Iron Man stuff's coming out. That's over. So it shocks me to see that book keep going up and up and up.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm hoping they drop. So I'm hoping another year. And comics are starting to drop a little bit. I don't know if you've noticed.
No, they're definitely dropping.
They're dropping a little bit. That's why I think it's important time if people want to talk about, like, not saying smaller keys, but somewhat decent keys, kind of like first Echo or first, you can do first Peggy Carter as Captain America, first Kamala Khan, which I picked up. I have a 9.6 white pages. I picked up for like $140.
That's actually that dropped like by 50%. I remember that was a lot more expensive than that. So
yeah. If you want to pick up those type of characters who are starting to, who are going to be in the movies or the shows, if you're interested, and you get them raw too, because they're modern. And you should be getting high grades out of at least a 9.6 or more, and you're going to get white pages. So, it's that type of stuff. Then if you want to go to the big dogs, like Cap or, I just picked up Black Panther tonight. First,
FF52.
The 52. I got a 2.5.
All right.
It presents, and this is the reason why I buy some of the comics graded, is because I'm so scared of buying a raw one and it comes back restored.
I get it. That's the only thing that I worry about too. You just kind of really have to give it, especially online, you can't see it. If you know the dealer and you trust the dealer, I'd be all right with it. But outside of that, if you can't look at the book physically, I totally get that.
Because FF52 it's got the black and it's color touch. I'm so scared of it. And adding to it. If I get a purple label, I'll be die.
I know. Trust me. You want to spend that money. You want to get like what you pay for. So I get it. So Bison says that thank you for your honesty about what books to buy and what books to drop. I think that's what the community really needs, and you're saving lots of money. Thank you so much, bud. I really appreciate it. That's really the goal, outside of the fact that I like talking about comics. Is to say, hey, I've been fortunate where I got back in to collecting where things were so undervalued at the point that I was lucky. Now it's so hard to find like what's the next thing that I think is going to be a long-term hold. I don't do the whole like buy books anymore and hold it for a couple of months and then sell it. For most part, when I buy something, I hold on to it. If I get a nice push and I want to sell a book, if it's gone up, yeah, I'll sell it. But I try not to let things go up. They haven't moved.
Yeah, I'm a little different collector. I'm kind of like maybe you in a way. My main keys I'm going to be holding on to basically until I retire.
Yeah.
And then at the time when I retire, I'm 39 right now, so I still got a long way to go. But that time comes from now, and maybe the books are tripled by then. Who knows? Yeah. So
this is what I'm scared of. When I got back into collecting, like early on, like I'm talking like 2002.
Yeah.
Like 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was so cheap. Like you could have gotten like a Tales of Suspense 39 for under $1,000 in lower grade, really cheap. And things didn't move for a long time. Like it went by like 10 years and it maybe had a little bit of increase. So it was a long time before stuff started going up. And then you got like the MCU and things started creeping a little bit. And then people started buying books. Now all of a sudden we're 20 years later and $1,000 book is now almost a $10,000 book. Mm-hmm. So we can have to wait another 20 years for another gain like that. I'm going to say, yeah, I think it's when it comes, you got to be ready. And then when it settles down, you got to be ready to hold. So that's what I think is going to happen. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but
I think it's going to happen. I think you're going to have to wait 20 years and maybe it'll be worth 20, 25,000.
Yeah.
So I agree with you on that. Absolutely.
It's tough, man. Especially now, like things are still expensive in my opinion, right? They're not cheap still.
Even like the new ones are expensive.
I know. Even though I don't buy too many new things at all, but do you collect new books or no?
The only new one I have really is Kamala Khan.
Oh, but you don't get like a weekly pull list or stuff like that and to read and stuff like that? Yeah. I don't either. When I first got back in, I thought about doing it, but I read like one book and I can't read the new stuff. It's been like some of the stuff I was reading was terrible. Like I used to love reading Amazing Spider-Man. I used to love reading Hulk and Punisher.
Yeah.
The new shit, I can't even read it. It's like I try to read even the independent stuff. I try to read it. I'm like, oh my God, this is awful. First of all, it's so short.
Yeah.
It's not like back in the day where you get like a ton of pages. There was like a story in a story, and it takes you a while to read it. This I'm done in less than 10 minutes. I'm like, doesn't leave me, wanting to go on to read the next one for the most part.
Right.
But the next thing I was in new books. Like I miss the old paper. I miss the old paper. That was part of me buying books, was getting to see the old paper. I used to love thumbing through it. Like the new books, I thumb through it. I'm like, oh, I can't even do this.
Right. Yeah, I'm not a fan of reading the new ones at all.
Yeah. Cannabis says, I don't have a modern pull list anymore. You got to save every penny to strictly hone in on the big boys. I agree with you. I mean, I hate to say it. Like, I have a lot of friends who own, that have become friendly with, that own comic shops in my area, and they're struggling. And now they're making less once they came off of Diamond and started using Penguin or whatever, I believe. So it's hard. I would say as a collector that you buy new books to read new books, not to collect new books, because you see all the variant stuff. You see all the stuff that comes out that people spec on as a first appearance. They say, hey, if I hold on, buy it now, it may happen later on. It's really tough to do that stuff, and I think it's kind of a waste of money. Buy new books to read them, because that's how you fall in love with characters.
Yeah, especially like you just brought up the variants. There's so many variants of all these characters, and you get like these limited edition type, and some of those variants can go for thousands and thousands of dollars. Like, why would you spend all that money on those variants when you can pull in like a Fantastic Four 52 or
That's my
Avenger
thing. Like,
4.
you can have a major key from like Silver Age for $1,000, but then you spend it on a modern book, and then you go and grade the book. Like, some people, they won't spend that much, but then they go send it into grade, and they wait a year to get it back because it's the cheap tier. To me, that doesn't make sense. And then sometimes you miss your opportunity to sell it. To me, I get it, but I don't get it. Robert says, I remember one of the guys I buy books from had a giant size at a 9.6 and a Hulk 181 at a 9.6, both for less than $8,000. And it was less than 10 years ago.
Wow.
9.6 are huge grade. I don't even know what's a 181 9.6 now. That's got to be a fortune.
I would say what?
Let's look it up. I'll look it up while people are just. I'll look up GPA, the last sell on a 181 9.6. It's got to be like a fortune.
I had a 181 5.0. I sold it for $700.
Cannabis says they're sending themselves into a 90s crash. I don't know if it's going to be that much. I will say the artwork is phenomenal now, but imagine that artwork on old paper. Like, I would be in to buy some of that stuff, but like the paper they use now makes it look so cheap, and it doesn't look like it's worth anything. You buy a book way back when, it looks like, even if it's old, it looked like it worth something. It would look, even if it wasn't worth anything, it looks like it was worth something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know. So I'm pulling up 181. 9.6. We're going to go with a regular blue label. The last sale was $26,400 in June.
Yeah, I was going to say 30, but yeah, pretty close.
But that's over the 90-day average. The 90-day average is 25,000, so
wow.
Definitely picking up steam a little bit, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, if you had both of those books for under $8,000, that's pretty freaking awesome, right?
That's a steal.
Yeah. Let's go to Omega. How you doing, buddy?
Well, yeah.
I mailed out your book, Omega. So he bought a book for me today. A good pickup, because I think it's a good key. It's still cheap, in my opinion.
What did he pick up?
I'll let him tell you. I don't want to spoil it, but a decent key.
Oh, okay.
One of my favorite books right now that I think everybody should be buying if they can get their hands on. But like I said, we're here for comic questions, guys. I know we only got a couple people in here right now, but if you're passing through, any comic book questions, we can talk about the grading companies. I know you use CGC, right?
CGC for everything. Yep.
Me too. Have you ever used any of the other grading companies or no?
No. So, what's his name? He's on YouTube. He's got a big following. Chris.
We Love Comics.
We Love Comics. Yeah. He's a huge PGX guy.
Yes.
And I don't know if he's contracted with them or.
I think he gets his. I don't know this 100%. I watch a lot of his videos, and I give him a huge shout out, because he's one of the first guys when I started watching YouTube that I started watching, because what he did was he gave you books that he thought were undervalued that would be shown in movies, and I give him kudos for that, because he was right on with that stuff. I know he watches my channel, so maybe he'll pop in one day.
He's a good guy. Good guy.
He is a great guy. So he does. I think he does get his books graded for free. I'm not 100% they're free, or if he pays a little bit, but I think he does, which is fine. I've used
No problem
PGX
at all.
before. I'm gonna let Omega into the stream. I've used PGX before. I've used CBCS before, and I used CGC. This is years ago. So let me just. What's up, Omega? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen?
Good.
Hey, Omega, how you doing, buddy?
I'm telling a story on how I've used all three grading companies. So let me go back and just tell you quick. So like when I first got back in, I was doing research. I'm like, who should I use? I used CGC back in the like early 2000s. So I'm like, let me try CBCS. They were at a local show that I went to, and I dropped off a stack of books to them, and they said it would take about 3 months because I had a Fantastic Four #1 in there. So 3 months, dude. It took them almost a year to get them back to me. I said, never again.
Who's this?
This was CBCS, but this was years ago. This was like 3 years ago. I said, never again. So I went over to PGX. I said, all right, let me try PGX. They had just changed their labels. I'm like, all right, let me see how the label looks. They got a new label. All this stuff is on YouTube. So if anybody wants to check it out, there are old videos of me unboxing stuff from some CBCS, from PGX. So I got the PGX books, and I didn't like the cases. The cases I thought were on, not up to standard that CGC was, or even CBCS was. I thought their labels are pretty cool, but other than that, I wasn't crazy about the cases. So I started using CGC. I even sent those books that were CBCS and PGX over to CGC for the crossover grading. I have videos of that if you guys want to check them out. Some of the grades were the same, some of them were different, but early on, I did some good stuff on this channel that probably nobody watched.
Yeah, I have to go through them.
I'm telling you, man, I'm considering going to PGX, man, just to get the press and get the book slab, just to have like the personal collection, just to have a slab. But I also, years ago when I got back in the game, I used CBCS for the raw grading. And I got a few books that are raw graded.
How is that? I always wanted to try that because I thought that it was a cool
It was
service.
faster. Yeah, it's faster. It's good if if you're a seller, a true seller, and you just want to have, and you don't want to spend the time grading. You send a stack of shit to them, and they'll slab it. They're not slab, but they'll Mylar and put the tabs on the back, tamper proof. So quote.
I honestly wouldn't mind trying PGX because I heard it's cheaper. I heard they're faster.
Yeah.
But I think I know they got a bad rap like years ago. They were grading. I saw some videos where they were grading stuff like a 5.0, and then CGC had them like 3.0, and this is like people are like, this is why you use CGC, this and that. And like Lawrence said, their cases were terrible. They were so cheap looking. It was so easy to crack them open, no problem. I heard their cases are a lot better now, along with
Yeah, they changed them.
Yeah, I think they did as well. So I mean, I did this years ago, but I'm just so comfortable with CGC now. Yes, they raised their prices, but guess what? CBCS just raised their prices now. So it's all. I mean, PGX is definitely the cheapest. So if cost is an issue, yes. If you want slab books, go for it. For me, anybody watching my channel knows I try not to slab stuff. I know I just did a couple of CGC unboxings, but some of those books are going to be, sold. So that's why I did it. But I try to collect raw stuff for the most part. Yeah. I got Aquabarts_comics says I bought it from a week ago. Best looking 2.5 I've ever seen. I agree with you, and I've mentioned that on the channel before. If you don't mind, I think your name is Chris, right? His name is Chris, I think. He said that he bought my FF 48 2.5.
We love comics, right?
No. This is a different Chris.
Okay.
He bought a FF 48 2.5. I thought that book was a 3.5 at least, and CGC I think undergraded it. So I think he got a steal of a lifetime.
Oh, the book that I bought for Lawrence, you were asking earlier. ASM 194.
So there you go. He said, I don't want to just throw it out there because I don't want people knowing. So, but yes, that is one of my favorite books. I've had like 5 copies at one point. Now I'm down to 1. But I will look for more because I upgraded. I had 2 8.0s upgraded to a 9.0, and I had a raw copy that I just sold.
I tell you what, I just completed a deal yesterday for a huge book. Slow grade, but it's just one of the books that I always wanted in the PC. Hawkworn.
Did you get Hawkworn?
Oh, you got? Yeah, you told me that. You said that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats.
Is it graded?
Yep.
Was it graded?
1.0.
Hey, dude, I would take a 1.0 any day.
Oh yeah, I traded some I mean, I traded. What did I trade? I traded my Hawk 181 and my FF48. So I did a
Oh,
trade plus cash deal. Came out on top.
nice. You
And I
can't
can
go.
always get back a Hawk 181. They're all
You
over the
can't.
place.
So
You
Cannabis
can't.
says back in the day, PGX was swapping books out. That's what I heard. I don't think they do that anymore, but I'll leave the
Yeah.
expletive out of there. But you got what he said. I'm
I
gonna
don't know,
give,
Well,
for
I think
PGX,
I think
for
if
PGX, like I said, I would use them, or I am going to use them just for like stuff I'm going to keep in the PC for a while. And if I don't want to wait for CGC and I just need something slab, you know,
yeah.
that
yeah,
I'm
I
not going
think
to sell.
I think if you're a seller, you want to go with CGC because you're gonna get more money.
More money.
But
Yeah.
if you want to do a PC and like, hey, I want a slab, PGX, I don't think it's gonna be too
Try
bad
that
to
raw
use.
graded, man. Send with CBCS. It's like $9. Send a couple books in, not a lot, but send like 10 books in.
Mm-hmm.
How much? You know how off the top of your head how much it is to do the raw grade?
$9 plus shipping.
Oh, dude, that's pretty cheap. $9.
That's not bad at all.
Oh, I agree. Like I know I have a ton of slabs behind me. As you can see, some that are missing because I'm going to a local show on next Saturday.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna bring some stuff with me to see if I could sell. But I like you guys never see my raw wall up there. There's more raw books up there than there is. You can see a little bit where the camera is. There's more raw books up there than slabs. So I prefer the raw stuff. I think I like thumbing through stuff and looking through stuff. So
Well, Lawrence, is there a book that you're absolutely looking for, or I mean, I know you got majority of the keys, but
I would love to get raw copies of everything that I have graded. So like my ASM run, I have all the big keys graded, and
yeah.
I'm collecting all the big keys raw. So I have everything except
Yeah.
one raw, Amazing Spider-Man 1 and Amazing Spider-Man 14. I have it raw and graded as well. Those are the only two I'm missing, 1 and 14. So it's going to be almost impossible for me to find a one raw still because everybody seems like as soon as they get a big book, they grade it. Even if I see one, I ask, hey, are you selling that raw? No, we're sending it in before we sell it. I'm like, oh, come on.
So I found someone's trying to sell a raw AF-15 that, you know, I'm trying to build up books to a trade cash deal, but it's raw. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, so I was asking Lawrence earlier, Omega, I am so scared to buy huge keys raw because I'm so scared of the tampering, color cuts,
Yeah.
restoration.
So
It-
let me stop you and ask you a question. What
Yeah.
on what size of a book? I get it. If like it's like a $10,000 book, yeah, I totally agree with you. That's a big thing.
I mean, I'm sorry, like I was talking about Fantastic 452. Just I know it's not you're not dropping thousands for it, but still, it's like I don't want to be out $600-700. You know,
So where were you thinking of buying it from though? Is it a reputable person or no? Or like an LCS?
No, it was off Elite Comics.
I wouldn't worry. I mean,
Well, it was graded. It was graded already, but I'm saying
okay.
it was probably I look a lot on eBay.
eBay's a tough shot. That I get you because I've bought books off eBay and submitted them and they've come back purple label. So that I get.
I just don't want that pukey feeling when they come back with purple label. I just don't want to do it.
If you bought off Elite and I bought a ton off Elite, like I know you have, if you know the dealer, I think most of the time they're pretty good. Most of it, I feel comfortable with that. I don't think they have any dishonest guys. eBay's a totally different story. I 100% agree with you there.
Yeah,
I bought off of the Graham Monster comic shop. He's good.
Okay.
Yeah, he's reputable. I don't really buy too much off the Graham. When I buy, I just go into the LCS or I'll catch. Like I just started buying off of Instagram.
I think IG is the best place to buy them. I would recommend IG.
But big books, like when it's time to get the AF-15, I'll probably go to a convention or, like if one of you guys had it, meet up in person and just shoot the shit and,
Yeah,
so it's funny you mention that because I've owned two other AF-15s. One I bought at a convention, and the other I met someone and met up with them and we did a transaction right there. So I've done both of those, and I agree they're a hell of a lot easier in my opinion. Yeah. But if you know someone like Elite, I think for the most part you're all right. They're not going to screw you. They back everything 100% for them. So Bryson has a question. Do you think Captain America 100 is a great buy?
Yes.
Yes. Especially if you're a Cap fan. But it's an iconic cover too.
I do think it's a good buy. It's just at the price that it depends at the price you want to pay for it, right? So if you're going to get a high grade copy and you're going to spend a lot of money on it, then I don't think it's good buy. And maybe I'm the opposite of most people when it comes to that stuff, because think about it. If you buy a high grade copy, how easy is it for you to sell that book, turn around and sell it? Is it something you could sell in a day, or is it something you're going to have to hold on to for months and months and years before you get really full value for that book?
Yeah,
So that's
you
how
have to
I
hold
look at
it.
it.
So
Yeah.
is he buying this to flip it, or is he buying this because he wants it in his PC?
I think it's just a question. I mean,
Oh, okay.
I'm answering it saying, like, if you want like a 4 all, which is to me as Silver Age book on a 4 all, I'll take it all day.
Yep.
I'm all over. Yes, absolutely, go buy it. Keep it in your collection. But if you're gonna buy like a 9.0 copy and spend thousands and thousands on it, to me, I'd rather buy like a lower grade copy of a bigger key.
See,
Yeah,
and my
if you're gonna buy
philosophy
like
is
a 9.0 of it, I'd rather put the money towards Adventure 4, where he can get his first Silver Age appearance in a low grade, for like $1,200, like a 1.8 or a 2.0.
right.
You know?
It just all depends on your appetite and where you are. Me
Exactly.
personally, my motto
you're-
is buy quality, hold, and make money. Anything 9.0 Silver Age, if you can get it or close to it, that's long term. See, but short term, if you're flipping, like 4.0s,
Yep.
all day.
I think even a 4.0, you could hold on to that book for a long time, depending on the book. I mean,
yeah, it's a great book. It's just like the Iron Man one.
You're not going to get like
great book.
100% overturn on this stuff, but you're going to get a nice pop regardless. Over time.
It's like buying an ASM 300.
Yeah.
The real juice is in the Canadian variant.
Even the higher grades too. I mean, if you buy like a 5.0, it's and for a Copper Age book, it's going to be tough. But Silver Age book, you can get away with it.
Yeah, Silver Age, absolutely.
And I get a lot of people don't want to buy raw keys because there's a chance of that resto. I get it.
Yeah, he's like me.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot when you go raw. It's just like, should I or shouldn't I?
I know.
And then you go get a grade. It's like color restoration.
I know. You got it. Like I said, you got to buy it from a reputable dealer, and you really got to know what you're looking for if you're in person anyway. If you're in person, you could do it. Online, it's tough to tell that stuff.
Yeah, because the biggest ones is color touch and trim.
Trim.
Yeah.
So one of my football I coach football in the fall, so one of my players is on here. So what's up, Brody? How you doing, buddy? So I just want to say hello to him real quick. Yeah. Omega, what else you looking for right now? I asked Darren that. Anything you're hunting right now?
All right, so I got the Hawk. I just did an upgrade on my Marvel Spotlight 5, so that should be here any day. I got a good raw copy.
There you go.
What I'm hunting?
You got a raw. See, there's a man who listens because I'm all over that book, and I'm saying buy that book raw because it's.
Yeah, but one book I am hunting for that I want is Fantastic Four #4. And I almost caught FOMO. I almost bought one that was missing a page. Yeah. I'm like, shit, should I buy it? And I almost pulled the trigger. I'm like, what are you doing? Wake up.
Yeah, that book, man. What are you doing?
It's gone so quick. Like it was like when they first announced the Submariners and Black Panther Wakanda Forever, like that, you had to buy it then because now it's come so far so quick already. I'm like, you kind of like missed it already. I feel like
and that's a book where after it comes out, the movie comes out, and when Namor does come, I'll probably pick it up because I like the book. I remember when I was a kid, I saw it, so I'm not going to pay $3,000-$4,000. I'll wait till after it drops and see what I can get raw.
Yeah, and it's going to drop too. So.
So, Aquabart says, I even bought an Iron Man 55 to get signed by Starlin at Heroes Con a couple of weekends ago, and I bought a graded book, cracked it, and he signed it and resubmitted it for grading with a gold label. I mean, yeah. Listen, nice. If that's what you got to do and that makes you comfortable, I think that's fine. I think they're hard to find. I think it's so hard to find raw comics for big keys right now. It's almost like that's why every time I see them, I want to pounce on it because you don't see it that often anymore.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I'm into now, and I should have. I didn't know when I got back into collecting back in 2018 what to do. I just remember I have a garage full of books I bought in the 80s and early 90s and then stopped. But if I would have known what I know now, I would have went after the I would have went after the big characters. I wouldn't have bought anything else. So I'd have just went for the big guns and had that spread.
I know. Listen, when I was a kid, I've told this story a million times. I went to a shop in my area, probably the only shop that was even close to me. and then an ASM 1 on the wall. What if I had known now and if I had known then what I know now, forget it, man, right? It was probably like $400 back then.
And see, I was a Fantastic Four guy and Wolverine when I was like 12 when I started. And I'm telling you, I wish I had someone to tell me, take a little bit of money, buy this.
Yeah.
You know, get 12 Hawk 181s when it was like $100.
I was like you, because I was like, you know, the animated series was my Saturday.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
everyone, you know, and Wolverine was always the guy you always, you know, everyone loved Wolverine.
Here's a good question that I don't think many people ask, but is there anyone that you're close with that when you were growing up that also like adult wise that collected comics or knew anything about comics? Like I didn't have anybody like my dad didn't collect comics. I had a cousin who lived in New York, nowhere near me. He collected comics. That was about it though.
I had the LCS owner who schooled me on how to, you know, buy books and collect and what to look out for and what not, you know.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that.
Yeah. I had a
Especially
friend
as a
that
kid.
It was cool, man. He used to give me like half of his sandwich and school me. Like I remember when the Wolverine series dropped, that 4-part series. He's like, buy 2 of these, read one, and there was no bag and boards. It was like bag the other one and just save it.
Oh wow.
Secret Wars,
smart
same
guy,
thing.
man. Smart guy.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So what are you after, Lawrence?
You know what? Like I said, I'm trying to find raw keys of big keys. So like if I could, I would love to find a Tales of Suspense 39 raw. I would love to find an AF-15 raw. It's funny because I messaged Vince over at Comic Connect. I bought an AF-15 raw from him years ago. He just got an ASM-1 in and an AF-15 raw in, but they're processing them. So I want to, before he sells them and has them graded, I want to see if, you know, what he's asking for them, because I think, like I said, 20 years from now, I think every major comic book is going to be graded. And I don't think that it's going to be an anomaly and people are going to start cracking CGC cases. You're not going to be able to find a raw book anymore, but
I got to tell you,
it's
man.
the same thing with the baseball card hobby.
Yeah.
It's graded PSA, you know, Beckett, you know, BGS, it's all graded now. You want your cards graded. That's what sells.
I got to tell you, Mighty, I pulled the trigger on a Tales of Suspense 39 today. The guy didn't take my offer. I'm like, he's asking way above GPA and averages for a 2.0. But I almost pulled the trigger. I want that book bad too.
So where was the book, may I ask?
Short box.
Okay, so you ready? Collector Supreme has one. They're doing a live show tonight as we speak. Rob from Redo Comics and Collector Supreme are doing a live show together. He's got a 2.0, I think, for just under 9,000, which I think is around GPA. And it's great.
The guy in short box was at 83, but I try to get close to GPA. He no go.
What's the GPA on a 2.0?
Was a GPA on a 2.0 was like 68.
Really? I'm gonna look that up right now. Because I have it open because I checked.
Check me out, man. Sometimes.
But here we go. So while we're doing that, better buy right now. Silver Surfer 3 or 4. I can only get one right now, and I'm not sure which to buy.
3
by 3, and there's no debate.
See, everybody says I don't know. I'm 4 is the better cover.
4 is the iconic cover, but I'm telling you, man, that 3 is an amazing cover too with that orange. You know, that's awesome cover. And then I'm guarantee you, Mephisto's going to show up. He's going to show up.
Hey, Derek, I would go 3 too.
So I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to say 4. And I'm going to tell you right now, Chris, at Aquabarts, I have both of them for sale on my website. There you go.
Buy from him.
So you're right. The last sale was a 6,800 for a 2.0. Wow. But the 90-day average is 7,800. That's a big spread. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm not paying 83. I agree with you.
No, I'm not paying 83. I'm not paying 9, and it's going to go down more. So, you know, my philosophy that buy quality, hold, you make money. That's when you can bargain times like this where prices are dropping.
What I would do because it's a blue chip key, I would split the difference between the 90-day and the last sale, which is roughly $7,200. I'd be all right with that because I'd be okay with that because it's a blue chipper. You got to pay up a little bit for a book like that, but I'm not going anywhere near 8,000.
Because at the end of the day, in about a year from now, you'll come up on that deal.
Yeah. Well, shit, if it hits, I said that it was on the Hot 10 for 6,600. I was like, I would buy that all day long if I saw that.
Yeah.
But
So
that was a 1.0. So keep that in mind. A 1.0 sold for 6,600. So that 2.0 may have been an outlier. That 6,600 sale or 1,600 sale. He says that's the question: cover or first appearance? Always first appearance. But with that book, to me, it's like Mephisto. Yeah, they've been saying he's coming forever, and it's cheap right now. I think my copy I have is under $500 that I have, and it's a 4.5 with the Marvel label on it. It's
that's
got
a
the
good
Silver
one.
Surfer label on it.
That's a good
Yeah,
one.
because
Yeah, so
three is very hard to grade. It like
The
I
color.
said, the
they're
color.
both square bound too, so it's not even.
Yeah, like I said, I'm saying 3. 4, I mean, you can't go wrong with 4. The cover is amazing, one of the best covers of all time. But
Price wise, 4 is worth 4 times the amount.
I know.
Let me ask you a question. What's one book, and this is for anybody in the chat, that you would buy every time you see it, no matter what?
I mean, we're
Every
not
time I
talking
see
something a lot of money, right? We're talking like a regular book.
Anything.
Anything, I'd buy AF-15 all day. Every time I could buy it, I would.
AF-15, probably number 1, and then Hulk. I love Hulk. I love that cover. I love that
Hulk 1,
cover.
you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Hulk 1.
I'm
mean,
gonna go real
so
cheap.
scarce. Yeah.
I'm gonna go real cheap on you guys. Anytime I see a What If number 32, the Korvac one, I'm picking it up.
You said that the last stream we were in the Korvac. You love
Hey,
that.
Omega, I forgot to tell you, there was a Twitter post today that he's supposed to appear in the Marvels.
There you go.
There,
I've been
there's your
saying it
spec,
for
buddy.
years.
There's your spec, buddy.
Korvac.
There's your spec, buddy.
But how much is that book going to go up, though? That's my thing. Like, how much are you going to get?
Oh, Defenders. His first appearance is in Defenders 3, I think it is.
If they keep him around, you know, for Secret Wars, and if Secret Wars,
I don't think he'll be. I think he'll be the next, like a quick bad guy, a lead into Galactus, and then, you know, then you can tie in the Beyonder, and you can tie in Secret Wars. You know, it's a lot. You can these guys change the plot, like we talked about last time, so much that I would love to see the Elders of the Universe pop up.
So Mike says he always picks up Batman 635. I'm trying to find out what the significance of that one is. But
oh, that's I just bought one. That's with Red Hood.
Oh yeah, it says welcome the return of the Red Hood. All right, there you go.
That is
I picked up a 9.8 copy.
Yeah. That's a very popular book.
Yeah.
Red Hood's a great character.
So okay, DZE2 ASM 50, dude. I'm with you, buddy.
Great cover.
Tuesday, I'm releasing Copper Drop. Make sure you watch that one because you're gonna love it. I agree. Now that Kingpin's gonna be in the Echo series, and I'm hoping you get some better feel how this character's gonna be in Marvel, like that book starts to pop again. There's so many people selling that book right now, and I can't figure out why it's dropping like a stone.
I sold mine. It didn't have a back cover, about 8 months ago, and I've been waiting to pick up another copy. But everyone I see, and I want a raw copy, but everyone I see is slabbed, and it's like, eh.
He says that Rob says Detective Comics 27, bro. I agree with you. If you can find one, I'll be all over it.
Shit, I'll get it. In that case, I want Marvel Comics 1.
Dude, guess I went to with the King Con. They have a local show by me that this year was the second one. It's in Jersey. It's by collectors from YouTube and the Instagram community. They run it. Dude, I got to hold a copy of Detective Comics 27. It was the file copy from what was it, Bob Kane or somebody's file copy. Dude, it was like it was $1 million book. I held it in my hands.
Oh wow.
It's crazy.
Did you want to run?
Yes. I put it in my hand and I thought about it. But there was like 400 people in a room, so somebody would have killed me.
But are there any books that, you know, you have someone in the chat or you guys that you're building up to from a trade aspect that you want to get?
God, Darren, you go. Anything? I mean, everybody approaches me to trade, but I really need to replenish some funds to go out and get something.
Right.
Or a trade plus cash deal?
Yeah, I mean, with trade for me right now, my books are pretty much I'm keeping. It would just be cash. My books are mine. Yeah. I'm building something right now, and there's nothing I would part with right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I would look to getting another big Silver Age key, but it'd have to be the right deal because I'd have to give up another big Silver Age key. So like, I'm not going to trade like a Hulk 1 for like, because that book is super scarce for like, the only thing I would trade a Hulk 1 for is an AF-15, but
Right.
like
And
I
that's what
wouldn't
I'm
go.
building up to.
You-
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
How do you
Lauren,
guys feel about
Lauren,
Copper Age
oh, go ahead.
Independence?
I didn't really collect many independents when I was younger, Copper Age
Me
wise.
neither.
I mean, just Spawn was the only thing I collected for a while.
Mm.
Yeah, I like Image. I did do the Image Wildcats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's Wildcats and Spawn.
That I
So.
mean that was a whole rage back then, right? All those books. Savage Dragon was another one. I still have that book. It's like that's worth nothing. At least Spawn 1 you get a little money for.
I used to like Grendel.
Oh, great. Okay.
That could be that's a popular book. That's the primer book, right? The primer.
I got it. Yeah, I got a 9 too.
That's a huge dollar book, I think.
Yeah.
Lawrence,
It bumped up. I got mine for like 150. It's like a $2,000 book now, the 9
I was
too.
gonna say that's a freaking steal, man.
Wow.
Holy crap.
But I bought it when I first got back in the game, and reading that Overstreet guide and talking to people, they're like, "Yeah, Copper Age, get you some."
Well, I just did that Copper Age list, the top 10 most expensive. Like, there's a lot of books I never heard of on that list.
Yeah, I like that. That was a good video you put out.
The only one I would
Good
buy
one.
off that list from the Copper Age was ASM 300. The rest of them I would probably stay away from.
You probably got eight ASM 300s.
I have one. I don't
One?
collect too many. One only. I've one. I only wanted one copy. It's 9.2. I know it's my only book I have signed by Todd McFarlane. That's it. Like that's the only one I have. It's the only one I need. It's not a huge it's a big book, don't get me wrong. To me, it's the most affordable Copper Age book that you're going to be able to afford, right? Like that's a big key. After that, like you have books you never heard of, or you have TMNT, which is like $30,000.
Right. Do you guys have Jim 83?
I do.
You do.
Who?
Journey to Mystery 83.
Oh, I want one.
So you ready? I bought a raw copy 3 years ago, long time ago, from Metropolis Comics for $2,000. It's a 1.0.
What?
Came back a 1.0.
It's 1.0. Okay.
But still, that's like a $5,000 book now. But it's just like the deals you could have had 3 years ago are different than you have now. It's like still it's low grade, but it's still presents nice. That's all I care about.
I still want to pick up a Jim 85. I mean,
It's coming down now. It's coming down. It's one of the,
Oh, it's coming way down.
Yes, it is.
What's his name? Comic Book Investments, Dave over there. He just did a video, and that book's dropping.
See, I see 83s all the time, but they're like 1.0s and the cover's ripped, and I'm like, nah.
They just posted a Jim 4.5 today for 19,000 on the Elite.
That's
Really?
a lot. I don't want to
That's
spend
a
20
lot.
grand on that book. If I want to spend 20
White
grand, I
pages.
want an
It was white
ASPC.
pages too. I know some people don't care about pages. I'm not huge on pages. I do like white, but some people are really fanatical about their page quality.
Yeah.
Any Jim 83, if it's complete, I mean, it's worth it.
Yeah,
if it's
exactly.
As long as the cover isn't ripped for me,
I agree with it. If it presents nice, that's what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
What else are people asking out there?
He says, my next book I'm saving up for, Robert says, is ASM 14, man. I agree with you. That's a book that, like,
Great
all
book.
all the Spider-Man villains right now, after No Way Home, they're dropping a little bit. So, like, now's a good time for, like, the big boys to go out and get one if you can find one because they're dropping.
What's 14? That's
Green Goblin.
Green Goblin.
Yeah.
I
tell you
tell
what,
there's
I
one
mean-
book I would pick up the Hobgoblin one. I have a feeling that book's gonna skyrocket.
I don't know, man. Like, everybody's talking about that. The 238. All right, so Chris at Aquabarts, he said he didn't see the SS3 on a site too. I apologize. I had a 3.5 that sold on the site. I have a 4.5 that I haven't listed. I will shoot you an Instagram message after this, and I'll send you pics, bud, all right? So that's my fault. I forgot that one sold, but I have a 4.5 that hasn't sold yet. I'll send you pics.
I'll tell you one thing
Nice.
I wanted to do, or I want to do, is do a X-Men 1 through 66 run, all the original stories. I have it in omnibus, but I want the raw books too.
Do you think when X-Men come to the MCU that they're going to start with that stuff, the original X-Men, or are they going to go right into the meat?
I think it all depends on the characters. They like if they stay street, the Kingpin and all those guys, that's a good way to bring in the X-Men with Magneto and all that. I don't. It's tough. It's because they can go cosmic with the X-Men. They can go any route they want.
I know that. I just don't know how they're gonna bring him in.
I don't know how they're gonna bring him in either. It's gonna be interesting. Who
They're
would
gonna
you
have to
think?
go one
Who do you
character
think
at
they
a
would bring
time.
in first?
That's what
Like
I think they're
Xavier?
gonna do. Like they did the Avengers. Iron Man got his own movie, and then Captain America. I think it's gonna be like that. You're gonna get a Wolverine movie. You're gonna get like a Magneto movie, stuff like that.
And then they all come together.
Yeah, that's what I think is gonna happen. That would make
It-
sense,
that-
right?
It's probably the best way to do it.
Because we saw Professor X in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, but that's not gonna be the Professor X in our universe. I don't think it's gonna be somebody younger and somebody. I don't even know because they had in the Days of Future Past, like James McAvoy was Professor X. I don't even know how they're even gonna do this now because they've already had 2 iterations, so they're not having a third. You might not
It's
see
like they can
Professor
tie.
X
It's
for a
like
while.
Professor. It's like with the role, the Professor X character, the way that he talked, like he knew what was going on, and it's almost like they tie it into like Days of Future Past and all that other stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I hope they get it right.
Guys, hang on one second. You guys talk. Continue to chat. I'm gonna let my dog out to go to the bathroom, and I'll be right back. All right.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. I
So
don't
yeah.
Know. I don't
So
know.
what else are you looking for?
Wow, man. I want to complete the Avengers collection. I have Avengers 4, Tales of Suspense 52 and 57.
Ooh.
And then I'm saving up for the 3 big dogs. And then I want to have a complete Avengers set.
Yeah.
Like with the movies. So
You
that's my goal right now.
Yeah, mine is just the Tales of Suspense 39, Gem 83.
Yeah, definitely.
And don't laugh, but I want the Tales to Astonish 44. First appearance of the Wasp.
First Wasp.
Yeah.
Wasp, yeah. What about 27?
Yeah, that too. I mean, like I said, I want to get the whole deck of cards, all the key characters. But I told someone, I told someone about Wonder Man years ago. Reggie. I told Reggie about Wonder Man years ago.
Oh, what, Wonder Man?
Yeah, he laughed at me. He was like, Wonder Man? I'm like, okay, you'll see.
Yeah,
and now
I picked up
a
raw copy. I picked up a raw copy of yeah. I sent it into CGC already.
Yeah, I got laughed at. Wonder Man. So here he is.
Well, it makes sense with Wonder Man because if they decide to do kind of West Coast stuff with like maybe Wanda and Vision, type of thing.
Hawkeye.
Wonder Man with Hawkeye, I can see why they're doing it, but we'll see. I hope it's good.
I hope so too. That, and I think another character that I used to like when I was a kid that I told someone, Jack of Hearts. Don't be shocked if he shows up.
Man, I like how you talk.
Jack of Hearts, man. I'm telling you. My philosophy is you can spec and try to assume, but really if you think about it, when you spec, think about how many times a character has appeared throughout its longevity. So if you see a character that's appeared probably 300 times in various books or whatever, well, that's a good character to spec on rather than a character who's only been around for 12 issues.
Right.
And it may not last that long. That's how I spec, is how long has this character been around and made appearances.
Exactly.
But
hey,
think. Lawrence, you were just saying we threw out some wild. I said, yeah, don't laugh at me, but I want to buy a Tales to Astonish 44, first appearance of Wasp, and then I mentioned don't be surprised if Jack of Hearts shows up somewhere.
You might be right. I got to tell you, I owned a really low grade raw copy a while back, and it was cheap. It was like $150, and now all of a sudden that book is starting to get hot, and I can't figure out why.
Me either.
So
sounds like a Mega might have some inside scoops going on here.
Man, let me tell you who. I used to give a lot of tips to one of the YouTubers out there before. Like I was this mystery, like who's this guy's picking all this crap? And I told him like I said, it depends. My philosophy is the number of times a character has shown will help you say, okay, that's a character to invest in.
Right.
Marvel may do something with that character one day.
Right.
And my picks have been right.
So I got a good question for you. Ready? Who? Obviously, you guys watch a lot of YouTube. Like me. Who do you guys watch? I think it's a good question. Like, who do you like? Oh, I got, when they put a video, like, oh, I got to watch it type of thing.
Okay,
Honestly,
you go ahead.
not trying to be a suck up. I got you on my notifications, Lawrence. So
I appreciate that.
So that's why, like, you do your 7 a.m. I'm on my way to work, and I put my phone right in my console. I have a little thing that holds my phone.
I do the same thing, bro. That's
So-
why I schedule it for 7 a.m. If you're on the East Coast, like I'm driving to work too. So it's
Yeah, I'm
like,
driving to work, so I'm listening to it. So yeah, I really like Chris a lot from
We Love
We Love
Comics?
Comics. Yeah, I like Chris a lot. I like Gary. Gary does a good
Gary?
job. Yep. So probably those three are probably the main ones I listen to or watch. Those three.
What about you, Omega? Anybody you like always want to watch or no?
Yeah, man, you wake me up every morning at 7 o'clock on the freaking dot.
I pay, just so everybody out there knows, I pay these guys $100 each to say that.
Yeah. So you, and I, you Cover Price. I like Chris from We Love Comics. I just, I wish he would go back to what made him big and just stick with it. But I like him. I check out Reggie, and that's pretty much it, man. I mean, there's too many.
I know it's a
Too
lot,
many,
man.
too many speculators, too many experts, so it's like, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I'll throw Reggie in there. I got Reggie as well.
I used to like when I first, like me and him got back into collecting at the same time. So I used to watch his stuff and I used to love it because he was so new back in it like I was. So a lot of the same stuff he would say or he would think I'd resonate with. Now it's like, I feel like he speaks to like the newbie collector. So I can't watch a lot of his stuff anymore. But he has a great voice for articulating what he's saying.
Right.
For me, I don't watch that much YouTube anymore, but I do watch. I watch Swaggle a bit. Only when he's talking about, like, he did a great video today about. He went to a convention and he was interviewing some of the dealers and the prices that the books and what they saw. I thought that was a good video. I watch Chris We Love Comics. He doesn't post that much. He only does his stuff that he sends out every month for grading.
Yeah, he's going through some stuff right now,
Yeah.
I guess.
But I always watch Gem Mint.
Him. Yeah, I watch him too. He's funny.
From day one, like I used to love. He used to go to conventions and like film the entire convention. I could sit there and watch the whole thing. I'm not a statue guy for the most part, so I don't watch some of that. But like, does a great job of just speaking about stuff. He doesn't really do comics anymore. He used to do a CGC spotlight where he'd go over a book and tell you everything there is about it, one book. And he stopped doing that a long time ago. I may pick that up and say I'm gonna run with it now because he doesn't do it anymore. So we'll take one book. And we'll go and we'll tell you everything it is about that book. We'll give you pricing. We'll give you with the story. We'll give you everything. I thought that was a great thing that he did, and he stopped doing it. So,
yeah, he had a couple videos where he compared like CBCS, CGC.
Yeah,
he had some good videos of that. But yeah, that was like 2 years ago though. So he has
it was a long time ago. So
man, there's one I forgot. How could I forget? I watch him religiously. ETA Nick.
Yes, I don't see. You know what's weird about YouTube is like. I can subscribe to guys and then I don't see their videos on my feed. So it's like weird.
Yeah. Sometimes he does. He stopped for a while. I think he had family issues, but from day one, when I got back in, he was the first, him and Chris were the first ones I started watching, and Reggie. But ETA Nick is the real deal.
Yeah. You guys watch, from the last video I saw him, he sold a lot of his books on Comic Link.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Something's going on with him. You guys watch Comic Tom at all or no? He's another one I watched early on, but now I don't really watch that much.
I watch him, but I understand his business model. A lot of people don't like it. I mean, we're gonna get mad at a guy who's just following his business model. But I don't watch him religiously. I may watch him here and there.
He gets a lot of great information, but he kind of stays neutral. So like that's where
he's funny.
He is. He's great at what he does. Like I listen to his podcast a little bit. Like that's where I got the idea for the Hot 10. I'm like, and it was another another YouTuber who kind of mentioned to me, hey, why don't we do like a double thing? Somebody will come on and go over the Hot 10. And I thought about it, but like the way I do the Hot 10 is like I like to go fast. I like to just give my opinion and like trying to make it entertaining. I don't want to spend a half hour doing a video and just yabba 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 yabba.
Right.
I want to just, all right, this is it. Let me go and give you information and tell you my opinion, and that's it.
Right. There's so many people new that are coming into this hobby, and there's a lot of topics, but the topics, I think too many people are doing too much of the same thing.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
hard. It's like you gotta you're doing it right, and you just have to know how to juice it up, or just change it up, or just add to your repertoire, as I say.
Yeah.
Lawrence,
Another-
what I like about yours is it's to the point.
Yeah.
It's
So
short
it's
and
not like
sweet.
these 50-minute, hour-long videos. It's like
most of my
12
videos are
minutes.
like 11 minutes, 12
Yeah,
minutes. That's it.
That's perfect, dude. Because I'm like,
Lawrence,
after a half hour, I might lose interest. You know, if you just ramble.
Lawrence, what is that song you have in your background? It's hilarious. It's
Wait,
like
which one?
when you do your top 10, it's like
It's
action oriented.
It's funny because I always search for like new music to like play in the background, but everything's copyrighted. So I go to like a website that's not copyright and I just download like a beat that I like and I put it in the background. I have like 4 or 5 different ones that I use. But that one for the Hot 10 is my favorite. Yeah. Another guy that I forgot that I watch is Journo's Comics sometimes.
Okay.
He gets a little intense sometimes, but I do watch him occasionally.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, now with the recession, there's just so much you can do. That's why I've been hesitating to jump on and do videos, because I just don't want to be. I mean, a channel is a channel, and it is what you make it. But I want to be able to provide, like you do, man, just something unique.
Yeah.
To make you come back.
That's the thing, man. The whole thing is like you get to talk about something you like, but then I try to like just entertain in a short window. Right. I can't unless I'm like we're here having a conversation. I'm not going to sit an hour on and just talk and talk and talk, because I like everybody else. I lose interest really quick when I'm watching someone.
Yeah, you're like, yeah.
Yeah. And if they're talking about books like I have no interest in, it goes right off.
Right.
Yeah.
So
like this Silver Age stuff, you know, and I used to watch Golden Age. I forgot what they called themselves, but it was the DS Comics and Golden Age Guru and a few others. That was good when I was buying Golden Age books.
Okay.
I haven't. I know Golden Age. I know Jeff, who he is, but I don't know he had a channel with other guys. I never seen that.
Yeah. It's usually Monday nights. It's the golden something. I'll Golden Corp or something. I'll have to send it to you guys.
All right.
Omega, do you have Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay.
Omega Collects.
Omega Collects. I'll send you a follow.
Dave from Comic Book Investments, he's got his own website, Collectors Comics. I watch him because he gives a lot of good information. He does 5 comics that are dropping, 5 comics that are going up. He gets CGC unboxes all the time. He's got a business though, so I get it.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff is pretty good. Like he knows his shit. But if he could rant a little bit, like go on and on and on. All right, I gotta go off. But a lot of great information he puts out there.
Good.
See, and I like it quick. I like the quick hit like you give, Lawrence. Just
that's right.
Update me. See you later. You know.
Yeah. Again, I can't spend hours and hours on making videos. Like I try to do like the editing. Like the editing is like it's not hard, but it's time consuming, right? I got to get like the price in there. I got to get the book in there. That takes up time.
Yeah,
the Cobra drop is pretty easy, but and that I think is going to end soon because there's so many books out there. Like I don't want to drop everything, and there's not much I want to buy at this point. So it's like I don't know what I want to, what I'd go out there and purchase. So that might be ending soon, but we'll see how it goes.
Cool. Yeah,
got to come up with some new ideas.
What'd you say?
I said I got to come up with some new ideas on like what people want to see. So if there's any,
I sent you one when I sent you that DM the other day. I gave you an idea.
I don't remember.
Can't remember. I don't know. It's in the DM. I don't know. I gave you an idea of something. I don't know.
Let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
I told you should start doing something. I don't know.
I always thought
factors that impact resale. I see it.
Yeah, that was it.
That's actually a good idea because we talked a little bit tonight about incomplete book. We talk about restoration. We talk about type of book that, like, if you buy a Cap 100 and a 9.0, it might take you forever to sell it, type of thing. That's actually a really, really good idea.
Yeah, nobody does that.
No, I agree with you. It's probably only good for like a one video type of thing, but that definitely would work. Because I think that's important, right? What you buy, and if something is flawed, if it's for your PC and you're going to keep it there forever, that's one thing. But if it's something you buy and you know at some point you're going to sell, all those factors could impact your resale. So yeah,
Ah,
absolutely.
that's not a one video thing, man. Just spread it, make a 3-minute video, spread it out
3
over a
minutes?
year.
That's like a short.
Glue impacts resale because
Don't buy books with glue.
Yeah, but I think Lawrence, what you're doing, like even just having a small round table like this and just talking to the people, to your followers, and just
let
talking
them
comment.
join.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'm gonna try to start doing more of that. This is the second one we did in a week, so like I'm gonna try my best. Unfortunately, I can't do live shows unless it's the weekend. So if I'm home on
Yeah.
a Friday night, maybe.
Yeah,
Saturdays
same
may
here.
be tough, but yeah, I do think it's a good idea. So anybody out there
Yeah.
want to jump on? I know these two do. I mean, I know we had John last week. Who else was on last week with us? So we're missing
I
somebody.
forgot.
One
Matt.
other
But yeah,
person. Oh yeah,
this
Matt
is a
was
good
on
one.
from Mr. Comics 89. That's right.
But this is good, like a viewer perspective, and we just go talk, once a month or whatever.
Yeah,
It's a
I'm
good
Nobody
down.
idea.
does this, and then letting your viewers pop in. Nobody does that.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You
It's
might
good
get somebody pop in and curse you out.
That's the one thing I
Your
worry
shit
about.
is shit.
That wouldn't bother me. That'd be entertaining. Somebody just come on and rip me for 20 minutes. Everybody would be tuning in. I'd be like rolling in the dough at that point. I have like freaking 100,000 followers. Somebody comes in.
That would be epic, and have that person join every time.
So it's just whoever joins, you got to say, what's the worst thing you hate about my channel? The first thing you got to say when you come on. Then we can talk about comics.
Right.
You're not buying all those fucking books you're talking about.
Yeah, but like I say, you just do a
That I
round
am,
table.
though.
If you do a round table like this, maybe just pick a certain subject, and like you want to talk Silver Age, and we'll just talk Silver Age for like an hour and questions and answers. And then next week or next 2 weeks from now, do bronze or do gold, whatever you want, that with the viewers. Maybe let the viewers like, hey, next week can you guys talk about this, and maybe that's how you can get more people to
pressing CBCS
pressing,
turnaround times, whatever.
turnaround times. Yeah, just talk about the show, like what shows you're liking right now, or movies, or whatever. Who do you want to see pop up in the MCU?
I've actually got a list of stuff that I'm working on doing videos for, but they're not going to be live shows. But see if I can find them real quick. So I'm going to do another LCS spotlight, CGC CBS video. I'm going to New York Comic Con, so I'm definitely going to try to get interviews with a bunch of people out there. So that might be a few videos, but that's not till October.
And I want to go to that so bad.
Yeah,
that's my birthday time.
Oh, is there? Mine too, actually. So, how I display my comics. So, like, I did this years ago, like the types of shelving I use and stuff like that. Like, nobody ever sees, like, I have a bookcase here. I have, different type of shelving here for the raw books, and then the stuff behind me. So, like, I used to have J Channel years ago, so I did a video on that. But like, I thought that's something that people might be interested in.
Sure.
Yep. Comic rooms. Like right now, we're in the process of renovations and stuff and upgrades and extending the house. So I don't have a room right now.
Yeah, same here. But I got stuff. I'm waiting for my slab stands to come in, so I got a bunch coming in. So,
but I like it raw. Like when you talk about raw comics and stuff, because I started doing like Alex the Comic Hoarder. I like
that's
him.
another one. I agree with you. Alex is from the beginning. I've always watched his stuff as well.
I like him. And he made me start doing a foundational book PC, and I'm just picking books from my own PC, man. And I thumbed through today with some. I'm like, man, if I were to just show what I got right now to someone, they would go, "You got all the keys."
Right.
Okay. And they're all raw.
So how many, like, do you have a ton of books? Like how many long boxes, short boxes do you have in your collection? You think?
Right now, in storage, I probably got 6 long boxes and 4 short here at the house. Probably 2 short because I just gave a lot away to a YouTuber, and I'm like, here, man, just take it because there was too much modern stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
What about you, Darren?
I don't
have books like me.
I'm just like you. Most of my books are first appearances.
Yeah.
A lot of slabs. I got raws. I actually I picked up Captain America 117 today, raw.
Oh man.
At my local comic shop. It's probably probably a 6. I'm gonna get it pressed and it cleaned. It's a little dirty. I think I can get it pressed and clean, maybe 6.65 out of it. And then I just sent an Iron Man 55 to CGC.
That's right. You told me that. So
Yeah.
wait a minute. You also told me you got the Iron Man 55, the LCS too. So that your LCS must be a pretty good shop because that's 2 big keys already you got in the past couple of weeks.
I took his 2 big keys. That's it. His biggest key up there right now is probably Miss Marvel 1 now. So
Okay. You took
yeah.
both of them. That was it.
I did that, and I sent that in. I sent the first Scotland in as Ant-Man, the Marvel Premiere 47, and then so waiting for those to come back. Hopefully, I sent in Avengers 9, the first Wonder Man.
What?
And I know. Lauren said sell, don't buy. But
So this is one of my buddies that I talk to on Instagram all the time. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate the bud. What was I gonna say? Do you guys press your own books by chance or clean your own books?
I'm gonna be honest. No, I bought a presser with the intent to learn how to do it. So I got a brand new presser looking at me in my face right now. But one day I'll do it.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I was really nervous the first time I did it because I didn't want to screw anything up. But Reggie had a great video on how he did it. I don't know if he does it anymore, but his pressing technique worked for me. Like I submitted Edge of Spider-Verse 2, I got a 9.8. New 98 got a 9.8. I press all my lower grade stuff too. I press everything before I send it to be graded, and it works.
You do any of your Silver Age?
Oh yeah, all the time. Everything I send to CGC, I've pressed beforehand just in case. Even if it doesn't benefit, I do it anyway. So it's definitely worth it. If you want, I use his process, and it works for me. I could, if you ever want to go through it. I mean, he has videos on it, but I do the exact same thing he does, but it's worth it. You could.
Yeah, I have to catch up with you. I have to catch up with you offline on that one because I got a presser looking at me right in my face, brand new.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it because I would never use CCS at CGC. You'll be waiting a year, and I think that's insane. By the time the book gets freaking graded, it's already reverted, probably back after the press. It's not worth it.
I have a presser though, a guy that I send stuff to, and I'm telling he got some books out of some 9.8s out of some books I sent him, which I sold some moderns for some big cash.
Is he expensive?
No, it's just like $15 a book.
It's not that bad.
Nope.
I was reading about CGC and why they're having some backlog problems is because a lot of people were sending back their books because of the Newton rings.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
Backlog and everything. So they would get their books back and then they send them back in to get reholdered.
I heard that the CCS is the backup. That's what I heard. I heard that because like they're so far behind that's a huge issue.
Yeah.
CGC did a screw up on me. I had a Venom 27, that double cover that came out, that air.
Yeah.
They sent it back to me and it wasn't labeled right. I just never got around to sending it back. So I got to crack that at some point and send it back.
I mean, knock on wood, outside of being undergraded, I haven't really had a problem outside of maybe like a crack case here or there, but God forbid I got a wrong label, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I'd be really pissed.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, what can you do? They're gonna make errors. They're busy as hell.
Right.
They're all busy as hell right now.
Right.
But yeah.
Hey guys, real quick, I gotta hop up. I gotta pick up my daughter from her friend's house. So
yeah, I'm gonna close this out shortly.
Okay.
Go ahead, man. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys so
all right,
much.
Lawrence.
Have a great weekend, guys.
All right, later, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video live. I'm going to start trying to do this more often. Anybody in the community want to talk about books? I won't hop up yet if people can ask questions because I have another question here. But what do you think about ASM 238 and 265 value going up with the rumors of them coming to Sony, Marvel, and MCU? I'm stocking copies for cheap. 238 is definitely a book I'd want to own. There's rumors out there that Jacob Batalon is going to take on the role of the Hobgoblin. I don't think we're going to get a Green Goblin in our universe now that, we had, William Dafoe come over and take on that Green Goblin role. There may be a Norman Osborn at one point, but I think it's going to be a really long time before we see a Green Goblin again. So there may be a Norman Osborn, but I don't think you're going to get a Green Goblin anytime. Hobgoblin, I think it's a better bet. Now that, Ned Leeds doesn't know who Peter Parker is anymore, it can happen. So yes, I think it's a good buy. I own a copy. I want it in my collection. I don't want to own it if it's not, doesn't have tattoos. It gives it on. I want to complete and everything in it because other than that, I think it will affect the resale value. So if you can get a nice deal under GPA, I want an 8.0 or higher on that book. I own an 8.0 signed by John Romita Jr. So that's I always give you guys information of stuff that, I have. So if I don't think I want to buy something for a certain grade, I'm going to tell you the grade I want it at because I think it's worth it at that grade. So yes to ASM 238. I'm trying to remember what the hell ASM 265 is. I want to say it's the freaking first Silver Sable. If my memory's correct, yes, it is. So it's the first Silver Sable. I've had that book since I was a kid. I don't think it's a huge key. If you have like an Amazing Spider-Man run and you want to collect that book, yes, own it. I'm not paying more than $20, $25 for it. I tell you that right now. I don't think it's a big enough key. 238, I'm all over. Yes, I want to own the copy of that book. Just be mindful of the price, 8.0 or higher. So keep that in mind. Any other questions, or I'm going to end this stream right now. It is almost been on for like a good hour and 40 minutes. I don't mind answering questions and staying on, but if there's no more questions, I'll hop off, guys. I'd really love to hear from the community because I really would like to get, I think I get so many questions, from the channel saying, would you buy this? Would you buy that? What's a good grade to buy this in? Is this too much money to spend on a book? So keep that in mind. I never have a problem answering questions through Instagram or the YouTube channel, but when I'm hop on live, like now's your time to get like my full blown answer of, hey, yes, no, the grade, the price. I can look stuff up, 1, 2, 3 for you guys here. So keep that in mind. All right. Do you think the Copper Age is going to continue to suffer to high print runs? Yes. Short answer. I did a recent, the 10 most expensive Copper Age keys recently. And I know I've done other Copper Age videos as well, the hot 10 Copper Age books of all time as well. If you go back maybe like 6 months, the Copper Age, I think Alex the Comic Recorder did a great video. They have generational books you want to keep in your collection. ASM 300 to me is the goal for most collectors in the Copper Age. You can still get a copy for about $1,000. Outside of that, you have TMNT 1, which not a lot of people can afford, $30,000 for a high grade copy. A lot of, if you're a big Crow fan and you want to own the second appearance of the Crow #1 is a great book. If you're, want that book, but I don't think a lot of people go after that. X-Men 266 wasn't on that list, but again, a nice Copper Age key I'd want because, Gambit still may come to the MCU at some point down the line. So I do think that is a nice Copper Age book I want to own. And of course, New Mutants 98. When Deadpool shows up in the MCU, people are going to go nuts. Ryan Reynolds is awesome. He kills the character. But I want to own that book in a 9.8. I don't want it. Maybe in a 9.6. There's just so many copies out there that you really have to go for the super high grade. I think the 300 Venom being he's such a popular character, you can stay. I always say 9.2 or higher because I think you're going to get a nice bump. Whenever Venom does come to the MCU, I know it won't be Tom Hardy, or maybe it will be Tom Hardy, but it'll be a different Venom from different universe. But there's like $5 from the Copper Age that for most collectors they want. I think it's ASM 300, X-Men 266, New Mutants 98. I won't even include New Mutants 87 first cable. It's still too cheap. I don't want to buy it. I don't see it going up in value anytime soon. There's probably another one that I'm forgetting out there, but those are the 5 or 4 that I would buy right now. Great show and enjoy your advice. I found a copy of Bloodstone 1 for 200. High grade, took your advice. Good. That's the first Elsa Bloodstone, right? If my memory is correct, that was on the list a while ago. I know there were some rumors about her coming to something, or in the Blade movie. That was it? That she may be something in the Blade movie. So hang on to that until the Blade movie comes out. You see if she comes. If she does show up, that book could go up. If she doesn't, though, be prepared. It's going to take a dive. So maybe leading up to it, if it goes up, you want to sell it because I don't know if you want to take the chance of holding on to it if you know she's not going to be in it, or you have an inkling, or you don't want to take the chance. But I do think that if she does show up, you're going to get a nice bump in that book. Anything else, guys? I'll hang on for another minute, but I really like the rapid fire questions. The one thing I do think I'm good at, especially with Silver Age, Bronze Age, Copper Age, stuff that I collect, is answering what books I will and will not buy right now. If I had to tell you right off the top of my head without getting a question, I gave you the Copper Age books, the 5 Bronze Age books, ASM 129, Giant Size X-Men 1, Hulk 181, Marvel Spotlight 5, and I'm sure I'm forgetting something. There's another one in there, but those 4 are probably the best 4 Bronze Age keys that I think when we get to the next phase of the MCU, in between X-Men and Fantastic Four, that is going to be it. Those are the characters that I think right now, when I bought 3 years ago all the Silver Age books, these are the Bronze Age books that I'd be going after because eventually they're going to get to these characters. Although I think some of them, the Daredevil, like the Bullseye, the Elektra, I'll include those in there. even though I think they might be copper. I'm not sure, but those are the big ones I'd be going. I know your views on incomplete or restored books, but does that change at all with Mega Grails, APs, and Hulk Gem? It doesn't change with any book. I think no matter what, you will be harder sells. So keep that in mind. Like if you want to buy an A15 that's missing something and you want to keep it in your PC forever because that's more affordable to you, then that's fine. But keep in mind, like if you're, you keep that book in your collection for 30 years and then you need the money for something, it may take you a long time to sell that book. And that's how I think about those books when I want to sell them, right? I think about how easy can I sell this book? Some people will take it a step further and look at, wraps on a book. They'll look at tape on a book. They'll look at not just incomplete stuff or restored books. They'll take it even further. I stop at incomplete, restored. I don't mind tape on a book, especially on Silver Age books, because they're 60 plus years old, for Christ's sake. Some people try to preserve these copies. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with tape. I'm okay with date stamps. I'm okay with rips. I'm okay with partial tears. The one thing I don't like buying incomplete books. I don't like restored books unless I can get the restoration removed. But it's all for what you're comfortable with. For me, I just do it. But that doesn't mean it's right for you. And like I said, if it's a PC book and you're going to pass it down to somebody, do it. If you want it, you're going to sell that book at some point, and it's going to take you a long time, and you're okay with that, that's 100% fine. Minimum Bronze Age Grails grades you would get. This is a great question because it's a Bronze Age and there are more copies out there, you want a higher grade. But it all depends on what fits in your budget. Like I'm okay with a 5.0 or higher on most of this stuff. I have a 4.0 Marvel Spotlight number 5, so I'm okay with that. I have an 8.0 Amazing Spider-Man 129. So I know in that book, Punisher is one of my favorite characters. I want a higher grade. The higher you go, the better. So keep that in mind. Bronze Age keys, minimum 5.0 or above, I would say, just to be safe. I own a 4.0. I'm okay with it. But from a safe bet, 5.0. GSX1, same thing. I have a 7.7.0 I got as a raw copy, and I pressed it and sent it in, came back a 7.0. Same thing, 5.0 or higher. I think you're safe. Colors need to be spot on. Presenting for the Bronze Age, how it presents is important. Any book, how it presents is important, but more so for the Bronze Age as opposed to Silver Age because there's just more copies available. Silver Age people, they did, back in the 60s, 70s, before the Bronze Age, they didn't take care of books as they did in the Bronze Age, to keep that in mind. So it really has to present better. I bought a ASM 129 like a year ago, and it was missing a chunk out of the right corner, and it was harder to sell. So keep that in mind. The newer the book, the more you need it to be aesthetically pleasing. Did I sell my Hulk one night? No, I do not. I still have it. It's still for sale. And I will tell you this. You ready? There are people out there. I saw a 1.5 for sale there was a note on it. There was no tape, but the note was like covered attachments or whatever it was. They were asking $15,000 and change. I'm selling a 1.8 with a little bit of tape on the top right corner for $13.99. So my price is the best price you're going to find on a Hulk one. If anybody is interested, hit me up. I've had a ton of people ask me price, and one guy asked me if I would meet up with him, but he lives like 3 hours away, and it was really hard. Who would you like to play Ghost Rider MCU? I like Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead to play him. That's a great choice, and that is a tough question. I'm hearing Keanu Reeves might take on that role. I think he'd be great. I think it's a nice character for him to play. I saw an Instagram post recently that said that they're working on a secret Ghost Rider movie. So keep that in mind. I don't know if it's true. I'm just going by what I read. I did post it, I think, to my Instagram stories, but it's probably gone by now. But if that's the case, man, people are sleeping on that book. It's one of my favorite books of the Bronze Age right now. So undervalued. I think a 4.0 I did on my last copper drop. It dropped down to almost $1,080. To me, that's a steal. Even though I say stay 5.0 or higher, but if you do the extrapolation and get a good deal on a 5.0, I'm picking it up. I own 2 copies. You can see behind me right now. I could pick up a third if I could find one at a good price. Would you consider Hulk 180 a grill? No, I know the debate ranges. So just so you know, I have a Hulk 180 on my site with the Wolverine label on it for sale. My feeling on cameos is that they're better than second appearances. Okay, so I'd rather have a cameo like the ASM 299 Hulk 180 than I would rather have a second appearance. So keep that in mind. I do think they're better investments than second appearances. I put more value on them. Is it a grail? Depends on who you talk to. I'd rather have a 181, 100%. But if that's out of your range, go get a 180. I'm no problem with 180 or cameo first appearances. I think they're awesome. I think they give collectors who can't go out and get like the crazy expensive book something to shoot for. And especially when, let's be honest, the cameo, most of the ones that are really worth it, the character's there on the last panel in full there. That should be the first appearance, but I get it. You look at a Hulk 181 cover, that cover is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of the best covers that ever been done. So that I get why that book is considered the first appearance. But yes, I consider it a grail? For me, it's not a grail, but that doesn't mean it's not worth money. The one I have, I think, on my site is just under $800. So it's like a 4 or 5. It's worth money. No question. So yes, it's definitely desirable and definitely a book I'd want to own. Either one, bud. You can email me at themightyRPH@gmail.com, or you can contact me on Instagram, Lawrence_the_MCG, whatever you want. Or you can go to my website, mightycollects.com, and there's like an contact me right there. You can just do there if you want. That makes your life easy. I always respond to everything, so that's never an issue. I get back to people. I'll use this moment to say, if I have memberships available for the channel, if you're interested, it's like $5 a month. I send out a newsletter every month with 4 to 5 comics that I think are good buys in this market. So I think I've sent out 3 or 4 newsletters already with some really good keys that I think have gone up in value for the most part. I think I've maybe like one that hasn't. So most of them are big books. Don't get me wrong. Like there's Marvel Spotlight 5 was on the last one. I'm not going to give them away because those people pay good money to get that information. But Marvel Spotlight 5 was one of them recently. But I've had some other big books that have gone up since that I've done that. Some smaller modern books too. I've done like 2 modern books. One has gone on up, one has gone down. I'm not really a modern guy, but I do think there are certain modern books out there that can be worth money, but they're very few, far in between. Any more questions, guys? I have it's like 9:06 in Eastern time, so I'm gonna give it a couple of minutes and then I'm gonna hop off unless I get some questions. But like I said, I get questions from everybody via Instagram, via YouTube, via email, asking me like, "Is this a good buy?" I never mind that stuff. I'm always here for anybody that I think has questions. That's what this community is about, helping each other. So anything I could do to help anybody out there, I'm always willing to do it. I'm not a dealer, so if anybody thinks that, I'm not. I'm just a collector that wants to sell some books. But you can see most of that stuff behind me is not for sale. Like those are that's what I cherish. Like if I have 2 copies and I want to unload something and get something else, that's what I'll do. Do you think the variants are killing the market? I don't collect new books, so I can't answer that question, except for the fact that I love the art of new books, especially some of the covers are absolutely phenomenal. I don't think the variants are killing the market because I don't collect variants, but the people that go out and spend a ton of money on variants, I think it's a waste of money. If you love an artist so much and you want every variant that they do, I get that because you're attached to something. I used to collect Todd McFarlane, but all Todd McFarlane books because I was a huge Todd fan when I was growing up. I stopped doing that because it's not cost effective for me and they're not worth money in the long run. So keep that in mind. I don't think you're going to get if your end game is to make money, no, it's not worth it. If your end game is you enjoy collecting that stuff, then it's worth it. I buy new books to read them, not for collecting purposes. So, I mean, that's my feeling on all new books, not just variants. I will say this. The paper they use to print new comic books, I think have killed the passion for some of the people who used to read comic books. Now they just collect comic books. It may be a stupid reason, paper, but it really, the smell of a comic book, the feel of an old school comic book, there's a difference. And that's the nostalgia part of it is important for this hobby. Which book is your biggest regret that you didn't buy when you had the chance? That is a great question. Man, I've had a lot of regrets. I regret buying books. I bought an X-Men 4 that right at the hype of WandaVision, which I'm probably going to lose like 40% of my money on it, but that I didn't buy. I got to say, I've been pretty good with buying books. When I see something that I think is undervalued, I go after it. It's tough to say. I can't think of something off the top of my head. If I could find a raw ASM 1, that's what I'm after right now. If I could find one for a good price. I haven't seen one. There've been books on eBay years ago that I would see and like, oh man, I really should have pulled the trigger on that and I didn't go after it because maybe I just purchased the book prior and I didn't want to spend any more money. Stuff like that. There's really nothing out there that I think, oh man, I missed on that. But you always have regrets in this hobby. It's fear of missing out. It's, you know, wanting to have something that you've always wanted. Sometimes you put the cart before the horse, so to speak, and you say, I really want that, and then you find out you didn't. That's why I said being attached to some of these characters is really important. I have an attachment to, Spider-Man, Hulk, Punisher. So getting rid of some of those books are going to be really hard. But outside of that, it's there's really no attachment at this point. Like I have a Tomb of Dracula #10 first appearance of Blade. I don't want to sell it, but I think once like we get that first trailer, I'm gonna sell it. But you just at some point you gotta let go. You can't keep everything. And I think if you do keep everything, you're gonna wind up with 50 long boxes of shit and it becomes an issue. It becomes a space issue, becomes a money issue, and then like you end up selling the stuff at a bulk price that you're not gonna get anywhere near than what it's worth. So that's why I kind of like you got to focus on your collecting goals. I think that's a really important thing that people don't talk about enough is like, what kind of collector are you? Are you going to go out there and collect every new book out there? Are you going to collect every variant out there? Are you going to focus on first appearances? You're going to focus on Silver Age, Bronze Age first appearances, minor keys in the Copper Age, minor keys in the Bronze Age? Like, are you a spec guy who say, I'm going to only buy characters that I think that we're going to get in the MCU or in a DC universe or the Sony universe? Like that is you got to find out what kind of collector you want to be. And I think that takes time. You have to be in the hobby for a little bit before you figure it out. I find out like I got to buy the characters that I'm attached to, and then I got to go at the first appearances of books that I think are worth money down the long term because that's where just my collecting goals have gone: attachment and value. Anytime you go buy a book, regardless of what it is, if it's undervalued, it might be worth it. But you got to learn what that is. My regret was my first Hulk one. I was like 5060 and I sold it back in the 90s and now I have a 10 25 years later. Listen, man, I hear you. You always sell books at the wrong time. I've done it. Everybody's done it. I've definitely sold books that like, oh, I'm like, oh my God, why did I sell that book? I had an FF48 4.5 a couple of years back. And like, just as it started to take off, I sell it. And then like a year later, it was like 3 times the amount. So now I have another copy, but it's nowhere near where it was back then. So yeah, you always sell stuff like at the worst time, unfortunately. And now I think it's not the greatest time to sell, but sometimes you gotta, if you want something big, you sometimes gotta let go, of stuff that you don't want to let go at the time, but you kind of just have to because you kind of have to move stuff that you're not attached to. So if you're not attached to something, it's easier to let it go. But like, there are certain books I will never sell. I will never sell it because they're just too important to me. If I could be buried with it, I probably would, but someone will probably rob my grave. So, yeah, man, Robert, you let me know, man. If you're interested in upgrading your Hulk, let me know. If you have a Hulk 1.0 and it presents well and you want to do trade plus cash, something I may be interested in, because it's not that big a deal if I'm getting back a Hulk 1. What's the biggest surprise book you fell into? Surprise book? That's a great question. I probably sold it now, but surprise book. A lot of the smaller books when I first got back into collecting was like the Daredevil 131's first Bullseye, first Elektra, Cap 117, first Falcon. Like my first Falcon book I got for $90 and it's like a $500 book now. So I wasn't familiar with the character of the Falcon when I first got into it. I wasn't into Captain America comics for the most part. So like when you find books that you say, hey, what surprised me was that it was so cheap back then. So like, not that I fell into it, but when you find stuff that you say, hey, this is undervalued, this guy just entered the MCU and it's a $90 book and like a mid grade, like you got to jump on it. So I don't have a book like per se, like a title that I fell into because I know basically when I go into collecting stuff, I know what I'm looking for. I know what I'm attached to. I know the characters, especially Marvel. If we're talking DC, it's like a little bit more of unknown. I know Batman and that's basically it. When I was a kid, I read a little bit of Superman, but not much. And I'm for the most part a Marvel guy. I did have a nice Spawn run. They were all newsstand too, but I sold that off maybe about 6 months ago. Couldn't get into Spawn. I'm never a big fan. I love Ta, but I never got into Spawn. Not much into the Image. I know people love The Walking Dead. I wasn't crazy about it. What is a better buy in high grade? First Bullseye or first Electra? I say first Bullseye. I think the cover's better. First of all, nice bright yellow. 100% I say first Bullseye is a better villain. And now also, I don't know how they're going to use Electra in the MCU, right? She died in Netflix series. They're bringing all the characters over, and they're not going to use her. Bullseye's still around. They could use the character. So 100% Bullseye. Love it. Better cover. I think Electra is a better character for the with Daredevil because there's so much going on there. But Bullseye is main nemesis. So 100% I'm saying Bullseye in that one. And he got an intact World Fighter 32 and Coverless GXX in it. Okay, last quick story that books can fall into your lap. A friend of mine just the other week had an old neighbor lady give him a box of beater books. Lots were coverless. And he got an intact World Fighter 32 and Coverless GXX. Hey, that's how it goes sometimes. I always wonder, like, are there still big finds out there, right? We're in 2022. Most of the major silver race keys were 1962 and higher. FF1 was 1961. Are there still keys out there that people haven't discovered? Are there still books out there that they're like in a box somewhere that's, you figure if someone was around 13 years old in 1962 and it's 60 years later, they're in their 70s now, so maybe they still have books and we haven't unearthed them. So that's something I always wonder on. Am I ever going to stumble on a collection that I could buy like that? I had a lead a couple of years ago on somebody who lived upstate New York and her husband passed away and she said he collected comics, but she didn't want to sell anything yet. But from what I heard, they were mostly Bronze Age stuff, which is great. Could be a lot of great stuff in there, but I've never bought a collection, and that is just amazing if he got all that stuff. I would love to have find a collection with some of that stuff in it. Things can still happen. Yeah, man. I agree. Which is better in high grade? First Bullseye or... Oh, yeah, I did that already. What? I read something about Electro. No, maybe oh, that was Electro. I thought I read Electro. What do you think? Hold 228 first Moonstone? Nah, I'm not into that. I don't think for the money it's going for. I mean, I could look it up on GPA, but I can't imagine it's going for anything, a ton of money right now. I kind of stay away from all that stuff. I think that's too much of a stretch to kind of spec on that stuff, especially with the Hulk right now. What are they doing with the character? He's going to be in the She-Hulk series, and then what? Like, is he still going to be in the Avengers? Like, all the other Avengers are gone. Is he still going to be around? If anything, is going to be like a shorter, smaller role. I can't see some of these characters showing up now. I just don't see it. I'd rather put the money towards something else. All right, guys. I think that's it. It's it's 9:15. I've been on for like an hour and 45. But listen, you can always contact me at Lawrence_the_MCG on Instagram, TheMightyRPH@gmail.com, or you can always drop comments on any of the videos. I always answer you guys. Check out MightyCollects.com. I will always have books for sale. There's more books coming once I get back from CGC. Monday, I'm dropping a new CGC unboxing. Check that out. Some more great stuff. I think most of them will be for sale. And of course, anybody in my area, I'm going to be at Gotham Underground next Saturday, the 16th, from 10 to 4, selling some books and dropping by, say hello. Do you get high-grade bronze in general when you see it? I buy books, all Bronze Age books, if they're undervalued. So if I buy a 3.5 ASM 129, if I get it under GPA and it's a good price, I still buy it. Okay? So I know I said 5.0 or higher, but if I find a 3.5 that presents well and that is a good price and it's undervalued for the point where I think I can make money on it, I'll still buy it, because there's always going to be a collector out there that can't afford a 5.0, right? They can afford a 3.5. So there's always value in those books. So when I say if I'm buying a book, buy a 5.0 or higher, it's because that's what I want in my personal collection. That's what I think the minimum is for investment purposes to get a good return on your investment. But at the same time, a 3.5 for somebody may be their book that they want forever in the collection, and they'll keep it in the collection for 50 years. Like, it's always worth buying for the right price. Keep that in mind. It's not just the grade, it's presentability, it's what I'm paying for the book. And, you know, can I make a return on it? And can I make someone's day by buying it and selling it to them? So yes, I'm willing to buy any grade as long as it's complete, you know, not restored. And I think it's undervalued and I can make something off of it. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, everybody, to show up today for this live stream. I appreciate you guys. I will talk to you guys soon. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I will talk to you guys soon.